Today, I am going to share with you the secrets to a successful line pour design. Now, the line pour design is considered to be a really good soap design for someone who is new to soaping and wants to begin learning the different soap designs. While I do agree with that, there are certain techniques that you just need to know and understand, or certain principles, in order to be able to have a successful line pour. And the key is the thickness of your batter, or rather, to be able to keep it as thin as possible in order to get those nice, thin, different colored lines. All right, now my oils and butters I had pre-mixed, which is why I had the stick blender in there, giving it a good swoosh around to make sure everything's well incorporated and all mixed in together. And now I'm weighing out my oils and butter, which for my recipe, it calls for 1,000 grams. Before I did that, I measured my bowl to see how much it weighed, so that later on I can figure out how much is in my bowl and be able to divide it up equally into different portions for the different colors that I'm going to use in this recipe. Now I'm adding my goat milk now. My goats aren't always in milk, so I put a lot up in the freezer. When it thaws out, it tends to separate, so I shake it up really good, and then, which brings it back together, but I do put it in my oil and butter mixture first, and I like to stick blend it, like really stick blend it a lot before I add my fragrance oil and my lye and all these other things, my colorants, because I want to blend it really, really well to make sure it's well incorporated into the oils and the butter, and all those little fat pockets, those little fat modules that make the goat milk soap so yummy and so good for our skin, to make sure it's well incorporated in there. I keep my oils and butters at room temperature, which is why it looks so thick. All right, here we go. Secret number 1, pre-mix your colorants. Now, why do we want to pre-mix our colorants? Because we want our colorants and the oil to be well blended before we add it to our soap batter, so we don't have to over mix our soap batter, which can also make it thicken. Now here I'm adding 1 teaspoon of colorant with 1 tablespoon of oil for each of my colorants. And you can use whatever kind of oil that you would normally use in your soap batter. Avocado, sunflower, olive oil, just whichever you prefer or have on hand. Here we really have the opportunity to really mix up our colorants in our oil, get it really nice and smooth, so that once it goes into the soap batter, it's ready to go. You can just stir it around, mix it around a bit, and you are good to go. You don't have to stick the stick blender in or get your whisk or anything like that. If you added the powder straight to the soap batter, if it doesn't matter if it thickens up on you, you can certainly do that. But in this case, to be able to help keep that batter really thin, because that's what we're going for, to be able to get those lines in the line pour design. All right, it's time to add the lye. Now I really like using a little strainer to pour my lye into, and especially this lye, I had pre-made it a couple of days before, and I have stirred it really, really well, because it does kind of get crusty. So I made sure I stirred it really, really well to get it well blended again. Very important, but you can still see particles in the bottom of that little strainer right there. So I love pouring it through there to make sure I don't have any chunks and everything's nice and smooth. So once you add your stick blender in there, secret number 2, you only blend for a couple of seconds, and then you want to stir. Now, because my batter is at room temperature, you can see it's thicker than normal, but it's temperature thick. It's not emulsified thick. So usually you can see it when it holds on the bell like that and it doesn't separate. That's how you can tell if you have reached emulsification. But the batter also changes color once it starts getting it emulsified, and it happened very quickly. You may want to rewind, and if you look really closely, you'll be able to see that. All right, so now we need to work fast, or at least I start feeling a little anxious here because I want to get it all together so we can keep it nice and thin, because soap naturally just starts thickening. So I separated it out as 20% of the batter of each of the colors, and then I left 40% of the white. And how I came to that number, when I put my bowl, empty bowl, on the scale, I wrote down the weight of the bowl, and then I added my oils and butters, I added my goat milk, my lye, and then once again I put it back on the scale to see what the total weight is, and then I subtracted the total weight of that bowl with all the ingredients in it, and then from the weight of just the bowl, and that is the weight of the soap batter. So I multiplied that by 20%, which is how I came to my number to pour into each of the little containers there, which should have left 40% in the bowl. Secret number 3 is your essential oils or your fragrance oil, whatever you're using for your soap. You have to make sure that it doesn't accelerate. Fragrance oil, lots of time it'll say on the bottle, no acceleration, but I highly recommend you test it first. Make a little batch of soap and just make sure that it doesn't accelerate. I use an essential oil blend here because they do tend to hold back. They'll stay thin longer than some fragrance oils will, especially citrus essential oils. Now their scents do tend to fade quicker than some of the others, like the eucalyptus, spearmint, tea tree, and things like that, lavender, but they do stay nice and thin. It's a really good essential oil. You could do an orange, pink, grapefruit, lemon, make a blend, add a little patchouli for a base, and it would be a really nice little blend of essential oil that should stay nice and thin for you. When I'm getting ready to pour here, I took a dish towel and had it nice and folded up underneath the edge there, so the mold is tilted and it has an angle. So we are going to pour down the side. It's kind of like called a wall pour. We're going to pour down the side of the mold, back and forth, back and forth. And I do have this sped up. I don't actually move that quickly. You may be able to, but you see there, you have the base color that you want to start with. Then I added some white. Then I add some of the next color. And then you just keep layering however you want your layers to be. But make sure you add some white in between the different colors, and a little bit at a time, so you get the variation and the pronounced colors that look really, really pretty in the line pour. While you're creating your design, don't forget about the colors that are sitting off to the side that you haven't gotten to yet and you haven't used. While you're adding more color, look over there, give them a quick little swoosh with your spatula. It helps them to stay thin. It helps to keep them thin, because if they sit there, they just start doing their business. They really start working and thickening up and doing what we want soap to do. But if you give them a quick swoosh, it really helps to keep them thin, and that way when you get to them and you start adding them to the other colors, they're ready to go, and they're create that beautiful look that we're looking for. Now we've gotten to the bottom here. You see that I've taken the mold off of the towel and pulled it on down flat so it can kind of level out. And I tried to get all of the soap out. I don't like to waste any soap. Get it all out and into the mold. And there were kind of little bumps and things because of me trying to scrape it out. So I took the spatula and just kind of gave it a little side by side to kind of smooth it out and give it that lined look. Now here's a little tip for you. If you take a chopstick or a popsicle stick and just run it along the inside of the mold there, it cleans it up really nicely, and you don't have all this extra soap stuff that's kind of just messy when you unmold it. Now I just sprayed the top of this mold. I'm spraying it with the 99% alcohol. I always do that once I finish my soap. It helps keep soda ash down. When it's humid out, you can really have a chance of getting soda ash. So here we're unmolding the soap. I always love to take the little potato peeler and trim the edges, each corner off. It just gives it a nice finish. There are two things in this soap that you're going to find that I am not pleased with. One, the fact that my white is not as white as I had hoped. And come to find out, the little squeeze bottle that I used, anyway, it didn't get mixed up in there as well as I thought it was. And so anyway, that would be one thing that I would change next time. Another thing that happened, you will see in just a minute, and I'm amazed by, because this is the first time it has ever happened to me. I'm in my 3rd year of making goat milk soap, and I really have no idea why it happened. And it's these little white, crusty looking places. It looks like lye spots. So I don't know if I didn't mix up my lye well enough. If maybe when I smushed it like through the see right there, see the white spot? Yep. And so anyway, I don't know what's up with that. I've got to get into the Facebook group and ask around some other soapers, and so I can get an explanation for that. These soaps, even though I love the way the line pour turned out, I love the colors, I don't like that. Even with it not being as white, I would still sell them because I think they're very pretty. But with that white spot right there in some of the soaps, I just, there's no way I would sell these soaps. But I will use them. I will try them out, and we'll use them here at home. So let me know what you think. I'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment in the comment section below if you found value in this video, and if it was helpful to you at all. Please like and subscribe. We'd love to have you along. And if you have any questions and comments, just let me know. Happy soaping.